The Parsha Vayeitzei, we have the classic story, of course, of Yaakov going to Lavan's house after 14 years in Shem V'Aver, works 7 years, another 7 years, another 6 years, and at this point it seems like it's time to go. And it's really fascinating when you look at the words of the Torah in terms of what exactly the thinking was and the rationale for this, for leaving. It says that Yaakov didn't see the face of Lavan really the same way. He saw it was time to leave, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells him in a nevuah that it's time to leave. So what does Yaakov do? The proper, of course, thing to do at that point, when not only are you sensing that it's time to go, but you have a confirmation from HaKadosh Baruch Hu in a nevuah that, yes, I'm going to be with you and everything's going to be good, but now it's time to go. Right? He says, in fact, those two things literally are one pasuk after the other. Yaakov is pnei Lavan, v'nei nenu imoy kitmo shalshom. V'yomer Hashem al Yaakov shuv al eretz avasecha ma'adetecha v'yeh imach, and I'll be with you. And right away, mamash very next pasuk, v'yishach Yaakov v'yikra l'rochav v'leah asad al tzono, and Yaakov gives his two wives the rationale of what's going on. It says, Rei anochi es pnei avichen. I see that your father's face is not with me. There's something with this thing is turning sour. I'm doing very well, and yet he seems to be uncomfortable with all of my success. And of course, he defends himself. He says, how much I was concerned, and how much effort I put in, and then he says, and in ending his discussion and his I guess not a soliloquy, but this wonderful explanation of the rationale of going. Vayomer Elai Malach Elokim v'chaloim Yaakov vayomineni, and basically he gives the whole spiel. He gives a little bit more information than we had even earlier. I'm going to be with you. I'm going to bless your flock. Everything's going to be good. He says, "V'shuv el eretz moladetecha." So the last pasuk, the last psukim that he says is a discussion on the nevuah, telling him it's time to go. First the rationale, and then the nevuah. And the real message in the Bali Musa talk about the response of Rachel and Leah. And the psukim say, "V'tan Rachel v'Leah v'tamarna loy hoylanu chelik v'nachla beis avinu alo nachros nachshavnu lo ki b'chranu v'yochel gam ochel as kaspenu." He usurped our money. Do we have anything here anymore? It belongs to the entire osher is ours, and we should we should make sure it stays within our family. We don't want love on taking it. Ve'ata, and the last words of their discussion back, whatever HaKadosh Baruch Hu has told you, do. So the Mefarshim, the Bali Musa, really talk about a fundamental concept in Jewish thought and in Jewish actions, just a sort of a approach to life, is derived from these psukim, because really there's a kasha that sort of comes out at you, says, what exactly is happening here? This should have been a very, very short conversation, really, both on Yaakov's part and on the wife's part. There should have been HaKadosh Baruch Hu had a nevuah, it's time to go, and the women should have answered, it's time to go. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, go. Like what more is there needed here in terms of explanations and justifications and rationales? I mean, what the shiftei, the parents of the shiftei call. We're talking about the avos and the mos of Klal Yisrael, the holiest people that we've had in our history, and you'd imagine that there wouldn't be any question about a nevuah being followed. So what exactly is this need for all of this other talk? That our father's not with us. What do we have here anymore? This, they went through a few psukim of discussion. Why was that necessary? So the approach that they say is really an important approach to life, as I mentioned, and that is that the concept that they use and the reference and the words that they use being maktin the nisayon. The concept that they use is the idea that a Jew needs to lessen the level of difficulty of any situation that he has in life, meaning that we could go. If you have to go, we have to go. If there's no understanding and love and appreciation for what it is that I'm going to do, it makes that which I'm being asked to do a little bit harder. Even though I'm going to do it, I don't think there's any question, right, that the Emos are going to do it, that Yaakov Avinu is going to do it. But if a person can inject a mentality that this is more beautiful, this is more right, this is more beneficial, this is the thing that I have to do, then that makes the whole process that much easier. There's an idea that of course, when you talk about the fundamental reason why we follow the Torah, the fundamental reason is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us the Torah. He chose us for His people, and we have to do it. We said, Nasav Nishma, we have to do it. The Torah and Hashem. That's really the long and short of it in its fundamental form, that it's really not about appreciating and looking into the beauty of all of the things that HaKadosh Baruch Hu asks us to do. The real answer is we do it, right? We just, keep quiet and just do what you got to do. But that while it's certainly, I guess, justified to maybe look at the world that way and say that's the long and short of it, but it's not really going to be as successful as an approach that says, I'm doing it, but why am I doing it? I'm doing it because this is the most beautiful thing. This is the most, HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves me so much, and it's so right, and it's so uplifting, and it's so satisfying, and it gives me such sipuk, not only in the next world, but it gives me such joy and satisfaction in this world. That makes a person's approach to why they want to do something that much more uplifting and more motivated. It supplies the fuel for a person's approach to do it in a positive way. So even the Emos, who was clearly such great people and really didn't need anything more than simply HaKadosh Baruch Hu told you, came to you in a nevuah, he told you it's time to go. Yeah, but if I could stop and reflect and say, listen, look at how that nevuah makes sense. Look at how wonderful it is that it's the right time to go. The nevuah is coming just at a time that we don't see any point here, and it makes that going that much easier as opposed to simply saying HaKadosh Baruch Hu told me. While maybe, I guess, on a high level, on one level, it makes it more, spiritually superior in a certain way when a person just says, I'm doing it because HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants me to do it. But at the same time, it's not practical. On a human level, it's much more appropriate to appreciate what it is that I'm doing and why HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants me to do it, and that it makes sense that I'm doing it, and therefore I have just a more positive attitude overall. This is where, again, a lot of people, Moshe Feinstein Zatzal was quoted many, many times, mentioned this, that the expression "Shver zu sein Yid." So what's that expression when Jews came over from Europe, 20s and 30s, and there were a lot of challenges. It was very difficult to be able to keep Shabbos and to keep a job were almost contradictory in terms of how would you function here. So the approach was by many people, Shver zu sein Yid. Just basically, what does that really mean? It's tough, it's difficult, it doesn't doesn't seem to really work, but I have no choice because Baruch Hu told us to do it, and that's it. No matter how hard it is, we're gonna do it. Which maybe work for one generation, but the next generation figured if Shver zu sein Yid, then who needs it? Why is it? Why should I go through such difficulty? Why do I have to do this? I don't want to have this yoke of Shver zu sein Yid. But if the approach had been, but look at what we're gaining. Look at the beauty of serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And look at the schus of keeping Shabbos, and the Mesiras Nefesh that we have is so worth it in the overall scheme of who we're going to become and what we're going to be gaining from this entire process of keeping Shabbos and everything else, all the other mitzvahs that went along with being a frum Jew. during that time. If you justify it and you explain it and you uplift it and you make it appealing and you make it beautiful, that's an approach that's going to be much more successful in the long term, even for the people themselves who seem to be so dedicated. Maybe that's really the deeper point of that. It's not just the next generation. It could be that they themselves weren't as committed. If you're going and living an approach, I'm doing it because it's tough, but let's just do it. It doesn't work as well. And it could be that the person themselves won't be as motivated and won't be as excited. Maybe that also was a contributing factor. And it wasn't just the words, but it was a state of mind and an approach to life. So if we look at the things through that lens, to always look for the beauty, always look for the positive, to communicate the positive, to see it in our own hearts, the positive, not just to adopt the approach, which again is legitimate in its fundamental form. Because Baruch Hu told it to us, and therefore it's not negotiable. We got to do it, but to find the beauty, as even the Imos did, they found the positive aspect. They said, "Hey, what HaKadosh Baruch Hu is telling us to do is the right thing to do. It's time to go. This is what makes sense even on the ground. It does help a Jew move ahead in a better direction. But as Hashem, we can approach life that way, communicate the beauty to ourselves and to our children. That's chutzpah. Hashem will always go michoil.